welcome to the Mill Creek Government Channel. I'm Judy Zelina. On our program today, we're going to be talking with Nancy Milkowski, and Nancy is the Executive Director for Habitat for Humanity. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you've been on the program previously, but they've always got something in the works, something new to talk about, so I'm glad you're here to update our viewers.
Thank you for the invitation.
First off, maybe some of our viewers, they've heard of Habitat for Humanity, but they're not quite familiar with the program. Can you give our viewers a little bit of background, a little bit of history?
Sure. Habitat started actually in 1976, and it came to Erie in 1989. And then that group completed their first house in 1991. So we have been very busy for well over 20 years building houses in this community. And really our mission is really to change lives. And we do that by offering the opportunities for home ownership for families who traditionally wouldn't qualify for a traditional loan.
How many homes have you built?
We have built 59 homes. We've done
59 homes?
Yeah, we've done 55 in the city of Erie, and we've also done 4 houses in Union City.
Oh my goodness.
So
now, I know I do have some family members that they really look forward to it, and they'll come and they will volunteer.
Wonderful.
So do you have something in the works right now?
We do. We just completed the house that Hearst built, and now we're working on a rehab. So we do both new construction and we will refurbish homes generally for larger families, and so it works out well.
This is great. I just love your program. I really do.
Thank you.
You know, I've seen the news media, the clips, the coverage of when you hand the keys over to somebody. Oh, how heartwarming, isn't that?
It really is. To celebrate the success with a family who has been struggling, really.
That's right.
And then they have the opportunity to have this joy in their life.
Okay, now we talk about building houses. Who actually builds these houses?
Volunteers build all of our houses.
All volunteers?
We have 2 paid construction staff. Okay. We have a construction manager and a site supervisor. So they provide all the instruction for whatever the day's task is. You don't have to come out with experience. No experience is required. We provide all the tools. So really all you need is a willing heart. And then when you come out that day, you're actually going to help build a house. And at the end of the day, you can look back and say, oh my gosh, I did that. I built that.
Now, if I happen to show up, first thing, you're not going to put a power saw in my hand or anything. You sort of work with maybe somebody's interest or something easier that you think that they would be able to do.
What we do is all volunteers have to be scheduled, so you can't just show up on a work site. So you have to call our office, and then we talk to you about what it is that you want to do, because volunteering on the construction site is not the only thing that you can do with Habitat. But if you come out to help build, if you have a fear of heights, we're not going to put you on a roof.
Okay.
If you have to be at least 16 to come out and build, but kids that are between 16 and 18, we don't give them power tools, we don't have them up on ladders, not that kind of thing. But other than that, unless you have a fear of something, we'll teach you. So you actually can get comfortable in doing something. So if you've never hung drywall, we'll show you how to do it.
Right.
If you've never laid linoleum, we'll show you how to do it. So that actually we have a lot of volunteers that are doing work in their own homes, want to learn how to do something. They'll come and volunteer, learn on the job, and go home and apply it. So
you know what? It's a win-win situation.
It really is.
In so many ways.
It really
with this program.
We have what I like to call like a wave effect. So it's not just about what's going on at that actual house, but how it impacts the entire community. Because not only are we working on a house, but oftentimes you'll see the neighbors then start to do some things around their houses. So you're really impacting one house, but it's a whole community through the action of everyone that participates.
Nancy, there are different programs for home ownership for residents who are in need of a home. What makes yours different from the others?
couple of things. First is, we are a Christian ministry. That doesn't mean that you have to be Christian to apply, volunteer, or otherwise.
Okay.
It's open to everyone. But as part of that, when we sell a house to a family, it's 0% interest. And that comes from the Bible. In the Bible, in Exodus, it says, if you lend money to the poor among you, you shall not charge them interest. So we don't. So when a family has a long-term time to pay and it's no interest, that's what makes a Habitat house affordable. Families are paying less for a house than they've paid for rent.
Okay.
So that's where they're able to kind of write their own financial ship, because they're actually saving money becoming a homeowner. Beyond the 0% interest for the house, it's also the sweat equity component.
What's sweat equity?
Our families have to work on someone else's house before their own, and then they work on their own house.
Okay.
So our families have to work at least 300 hours of sweat equity.
Oh, all right.
And so when they start, it's not about them, it's about somebody else.
Okay.
So they learn how to give back by doing for someone else. And then they work and learn what goes into building their house. So there's no secrets behind the walls, or I don't know how to do that.
Right.
They learn the whole process. That house, it is full of their own personal sweat. That's why it means so much to them. Nothing's being given to these families except an opportunity. And then they're paying for it in the end. So what that does is it not only empowers them in what construction is,
okay,
but it builds their confidence, and it also builds their personal network, because each time they're out there, there's new volunteers. And so that's the kind of community building that's going on during a Habitat experience.
So that's what you mean by you make a statement on your website that your program is not a handout, it's
Correct.
a hand up.
Exactly, because the families have to earn this opportunity,
right,
and they are paying for it. There's a mortgage at the end. These
okay,
are the houses are not free. But what is going on is, besides working on that house, they have to attend homeownership preparation classes, and they attend monthly budget coaching. And so what's going on is, besides the house, they're fixing a lot of financial issues that they've had. They're starting to understand how to manage things. They're educating their kids on money earlier, to help break
right,
that chain of poverty. So these families, we have some that don't drive, and so they've got to arrange transportation. They have child care issues. So there's a lot of management skills that go on during a Habitat process,
okay,
other than a house.
Okay. Now, these programs, are they through Habitat for Humanity, where they would actually go to these classes? You
Yes.
guys have these?
Yes, we host
Great.
them. We have volunteers from the financial community that serve as our budget
Right.
coaches, and it's individualized. So the families can talk about what's really going on in their situation instead of just a big class, and it's hard to apply it. These are targeted specifically to our family needs.
Okay. What are the qualifications for a Habitat home?
There's three main qualifications. They have to have an ability to pay, because they have that mortgage at the end. So we have income guidelines that they have to fit between,
right,
based on the size of their family. They have to be willing to partner, and that's that sweat equity, and that's attending all those classes. And the third is housing need. Families don't get to come to Habitat and say, hey, I want a house at 0% interest. That's not the way it works. There has to be need there. So we have a family selection committee that actually goes to see where they currently reside. There are people who have asked me, is there really poverty housing in the city of Erie? Yes, there is. Are we working to combat that? Absolutely. So there are families that really need this opportunity in this community to bring themselves out of poverty. In addition to that, we have families who have moved their kids so many times, and so the kids are moving schools, and they don't have that permanency and stability.
Right.
And so home ownership plays a key role in setting roots. So we really look at those three qualifications: need, income, and the willing to partner.
Okay, now if somebody does meet those qualifications, how would they apply?
We do an application session twice a year. We do one in the spring and one in the fall. So what happens is they would call our office, get an application packet. The next one will be in the spring, and they can call, then they attend that session. That starts the process. They fill out their applications right there. Then they have to work at least 8 hours during the application process to see what that experience is like. And then we move, if they qualify on the ability to pay, they do their 8 hours, then we'll do a home visit. And then we make recommendations to our board of directors, and then the families get selected to begin the process. Generally takes families, though, about 1.5 to 2 years to get through the program. It is not a quick fix for anyone in crisis.
Right. Okay, so this is not, you do not fall into that area of immediate crisis intervention.
No, on the housing spectrum, there would be homeless, then there's shelters, then you're looking at transitional housing and moving into permanent housing.
Okay.
We are that front end of permanent housing.
Okay, I have a question. With all of this construction experience, do you help fix homes if a home needs repair? Do you guys do anything like that? If it's owner occupied and they need home repairs, right now we are not doing that. Okay.
That is something that Habitat International is encouraging affiliates to look at, and we will be looking at that as maybe something we'll be able to do. But today, I have to say no.
Okay. All right, I happen to see a commercial, and I'm a little bit familiar with a store that Habitat has. Can you tell our viewers about that?
Sure. We have what's called a Restore. We're located at 903 Parade, and we sell new and used building materials. It's open to the general public. The cool thing about it is if you are doing any kind of remodeling and you have things that are in good condition, you can call our store and you can donate them. We'll give you a receipt you can use for your tax purposes. Then those items are sold to the general public so other people can upgrade their homes. And that money that we raise out of our store helps us buy materials for new Habitat houses. So it really kind of is the ultimate in recycling for the community.
It really is. Now, this store, and the reason I find it so interesting is because viewers, it's so difficult to get rid of construction and demolition waste. So this is the great place for this stuff to end up. It really is.
Absolutely.
But now, when we're talking about construction or demolition waste, what are some of the items that fall in that category? What do you accept?
We have a whole list on our website, but we accept things like working appliances. So if you're trading out your stove and refrigerator for stainless steel and there's nothing wrong with what you have, you can donate appliances. We take toilets, we do vanities and sinks, we have kitchen cabinets, we do doors, we take windows, we have flooring, we do light fixtures. We have some great chandeliers that come in. So if you're looking for lights, we have some really great things. We take all kinds of things. We take faucets and we take some small appliances. So if there's something that you have and you have a question about whether or not, you can absolutely always call our store to see. We have tar paper for roofs. We have, right now we have a ton of shower floors. So if you're looking for a shower floor, come to the Restore. We got them, lots of them. so yeah, we have a wide variety of things that we take, and so that people can then come in and do some rehabbing of their own homes or rentals.
Now, and also you were telling me about some different construction companies you're working with.
Yes, we are trying to get the word out to contractors that are doing remodeling for people, that if they just take a few extra minutes when they're taking something out, they can donate it to the store. And with how costly it can be to dispose of the materials, it's really a good way to save landfill space and get a tax deduction for doing it. And then it ultimately helps another family. So it really is a community service as well.
And I'll tell you, I'm kind of excited about this with the Restore and the different construction items or household items. We have our annual, we do it every other year, special collections. And we're very pleased that we're going to have Habitat there. They're going to have a truck for anyone who wants to get rid of any type of construction material. I mean, 2x4s, wood, your kitchen, like you said, kitchen cabinets, a working appliance. So they're going to be there. We're having that. It'll be this year in May. So really glad to have you on board. As you said, it's the ultimate in recycling.
It really is. It really
is.
Yeah.
So what are some of the items that you wouldn't take?
Well, if it's broken, we don't take it.
Okay.
We don't take TVs. We don't take lumber that's like less than 4 feet. That's too small really to do anything. So those are probably the key things. We don't take, old wooden windows, that would have lead issues, those kinds of things. But most things that you're probably getting and working on a project now is probably something that we can absolutely use.
Is there a quantity that would be too small for you to take?
Well, if you're going to do, like, for example, a roof and you have just a few shingles left, we would really need at least a square so that if somebody bought that, they could do a project. So you're kind of looking at that kind of thing. But we have all that on our website that kind of describes what size or what quantity that we would take as a minimum. But most people, when they have a project done, and if they have an extra box of tile or an extra box of flooring, that can be used by someone for a project they're doing.
And you were telling me about some of the interesting projects and people coming in and buying these items.
Yes, the Restore is not just for people who are doing home repairs and remodeling. We have artists that come in and they might pick up tile to do different mosaics. We have had different high schools come in that are doing plays, and so they need things for their stages. So they might get shutters, or they might pick up a sink or a countertop or something for one of their productions. So you can be very creative about how to repurpose all of these items.
I think that is a great idea. I have never been there, and I'm hearing more and more about it. And now, especially with you guys being at the special collection, I really would like to get down there and see some of the items.
Yeah.
So this is how long has the Restore been around?
I think we're at 4 years at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's one of these, I will say this, though, things change in there all the time. So if you stop there and there's nothing that kind of catches your attention the first time, by all means stop back. We have a lot of regulars. They come in every couple of days because things are constantly being dropped off.
Okay.
And so it changes. It's one of those, I've been in there when customers have come in and said, oh, well, I'll think about it and I'll come back. They'll come back 2 days later and it's gone. It's just the nature of that kind of thing. So things change in there all the time. You never know.
So you can't be indecisive when you go in there, right? You gotta
take your measurements.
Yeah, take your measurements, and you gotta buy it right then and there. A question: what if it's something that I don't have a vehicle, or I'm not able to get it to you?
If it's a large item, say it's an appliance.
All right.
You can call our Restore and they will schedule you for a pickup.
Oh, wonderful.
We only do pickups. We're very limited. We have one person that does it and we only have one truck. So you have to be scheduled. So it's not something that if you need taken away tomorrow, we're going to be able to get to you. We're not. Mm-hmm. But if you can hang on to it, we'll get to you. And so we'll schedule you and we go by direction. And so we can make that work.
Oh, good. So you're going to help me out. You're going to take my items, pick it up because I don't have a truck. But those that do have transportation, it's with you only having the one guy and the one truck. Yeah. You can help them out.
Yes, please.
So, volunteers. You were talking about volunteers. What are some of the opportunities with Habitat for volunteers?
Most people associate volunteering with Habitat coming out and help building, and that's great. We absolutely need that.
Yes.
But Habitat really is a grassroots community-based organization, and we have 10 different committees that are filled with volunteers that do everything from helping us find property to helping us raise money to working on marketing. They may help us select our families. When the families come into the program, there's a family partner who serves as their mentor through the experience. So if you like that hands-on contact with families and want to be a support person, that's a great committee to join. So you can, if you're a grant writer, we've got a place for you. So we have a list on our website of all the different committees, but that's a great way to be involved. The committees meet regularly, but not so much that it's time consuming.
Right.
We also have special events that people can support and also volunteer to plan, as well as working in our office.
Okay, what annual events do you have?
We do a golf tournament in the spring. We participate in the Highmark Walk for a Healthy Community in June, and we also do our Monopoly Night in October.
Look at this, you've got something going all year.
We do.
That's right. It's a wonderful organization. You guys do a great job. I'm just always so pleased whenever I see you hand the keys over to somebody. Now, if someone's interested in getting more information on the program or, of course, want to volunteer, how can they get a hold of you?
Sure. They can call our office at 454-7025 or check out our website, www.habitaterie.org.
Okay, Nancy, thank you so much for coming on, getting us up to speed, what's going on in Habitat.
Sure.
And the viewers, really, they do such a wonderful job, a great asset to our community. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Viewers, again, visit their website for any more information. Thank you for tuning into the Milker Government Channel. And until next time, have a wonderful day.